So what we're gonna need is I'm gonna have us ahead of time, I'm gonna have us grab a block, something like a chair or something chair height, and then a blanket or a pillow, you know, of some kind later that we might want to sit on. But I know you guys have all the props, but we just need at least one block, the chair, and then a blanket of some kind. Okay. Yes, so I'm gonna have us start standing, and then I'm gonna have us take the block, and we'll just do the first one with the block. But I'm gonna have us take the block, and we're just gonna line up the right toe with that edge of the block, and then we want to take the left leg into a kickstand. And all we're doing is we're trying to keep the toe and the knee lined up in the same plane, and then we're going to bring the left hip across to the right to see how far across we can bring that left hip. And I'm just going to have you do that a few times, just bringing it across, not letting the knee bow out or in, kind of trying to keep that in the same direction. Yeah, that looks great. And let's switch sides. We just need a few. We're just going to do this, and then we're going to do another exercise and then come back to this. So now we're lining up left toes, left knee with the block, slight bend in the right knee, and then we're bringing that right hip across to the left, just seeing how far we can turn. There might be a difference between the sides, like one side might feel not as fluid or mobile, just kind of noticing that. Yeah, just a few times. Awesome, awesome. All right, so then from here, I'm gonna have us just take the block with us, and I'm gonna have us grab a chair, and we're gonna come onto the back. So we're gonna grab a chair and come onto the back, and then we wanna place the feet up onto the chair, but we want the knees to be 90 degrees to the hips, if possible. And then we're gonna take the yoga block and just place the yoga block between the knees. Beautiful. And then we're gonna just gently squeeze into the yoga block. So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you take your left hand off to the side, keep your left heel on the chair, and then straighten out the right leg so the foot's facing the ceiling, and then take the right arm to face the ceiling. So your left arm is out, your left foot's on the chair, and then your right arm and right leg and foot are facing the ceiling. We're gonna squeeze the block, and then this is not a glute bridge. We're literally like doing a tail tuck and lifting the pelvis away from the floor so slightly, like just enough that we could slide a piece of paper under it. Such a little lift. And then I'm gonna have us switch. So now right foot is down, right arm is out in a T, left leg lifts, left arm reaches up to the ceiling. And then same thing, we're squeezing the block, tailbone tucks, so think of a cat pose, and then lifting up just slightly. And then we're gonna switch. I'm gonna have us do 3 more per side. So we have right heel down, left heel down, left arm out in a T, right leg lifts, right hand lifts, arm lifts, and then we do that little tiny tuck and lift, and we lower down and switch. Super, super tiny tuck. Squeezing the block, alternating sides. We should feel the hamstrings a little bit here. And then we want to just breathe normally with this. Just make sure we're inhaling and then exhaling. I like to exhale when I'm squeezing the block and lifting, but it doesn't matter as long as you're breathing. So okay, beautiful. I'm gonna have us do 1 more per side. We're inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling and then exhaling. Okay, beautiful. And then we can go ahead and remove the block. I'm gonna have us come back up to stand. And then we wanna reassess that the rotation, the standing rotation that we just did. We can bring back the block, but that's just to help remind us to keep the foot and the knee facing the same direction. We're kickstanding the left leg, and I'm mirroring you here. And then we're bringing the left hip across to the right to see if maybe we got a little bit more. I definitely feel like I got a little bit more. So just kind of noticing that. And then let's go to the other side and see how the other side looks and feels. Remembering to line up the toe and the knee, and then we're bringing that right hip across to the left. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so from here I'm gonna have us come back to the chair, and we're not gonna assess and reassess this one, but we're just gonna do like a tibial nerve glide just to stretch everything. So I'm gonna have us bring the left leg up onto the chair. Beautiful. And then we want to pull the toes towards us as much as we can and let the foot go out to the left, but the knee keeps facing the ceiling. And then we're going to do a little cat pose and slump down a little bit. And then from here, we're bending and straightening the knee about 10 times. Yes. Great. Let's try the other side. And remember the cat pose. So remember, foot pulls in, the right foot's going out to the right now, knee is still facing the ceiling. And remember to do the little cat pose, pushing the chest back. That is it. And then about 10 pulses of the knee. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. And then we can go ahead and release, and then we'll just come into a forward fold. Just a pretty casual forward fold. Taking a big inhale and an exhale. And we'll do one more breath here. One more big inhale. Beautiful. And one more exhale. Gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna have us come up. We can move the chair off to the side if we want. We're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna use it again. So we can just move the chair off to the side. I'm gonna have us come into a warrior 2. And I just want you to think about in your warrior 2, let's first focus on the front leg, right? So if we turn out our right toes and we turn in the left toes, and we want to take the feet pretty wide, right? So we want to be several inches wider than the shoulders. Beautiful, beautiful. And then we bend into that right knee. Just kind of notice, like, does there feel like there's any tightness in the inner groin? What does the outer hip feel like? Can you see how deep you can go? Just get a feeling for that. Okay. Beautiful, it looks great. And then we're gonna come up, working on the right leg. I'm gonna have you grab your yoga block, and then we're gonna step onto the yoga block with the right foot, but keep the left foot on the floor. And then what I'm gonna have you do, and so we're not doing the warrior 2 in this, we're still kind of just facing forward. Yeah, yes, yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, and then I'm gonna have you bring your hand to your right butt, so almost like your butt bone. And I'm just gonna have you reach your right butt bone as far back as you can into your hand. And then bring your left hand to the inner knee, the right inner knee, and push the knee into the hand, but keep reaching your right butt back like you're trying to push your butt bone up to the ceiling and back into the hand. It's a little awkward, but we're gonna hold, and then we're pushing that right knee into the hand, breathing. We have a few more seconds. Beautiful. And then we can go ahead and come back up. And then I'm gonna have us do warrior two again with the right leg kind of being the front leg. So we're going back into the warrior two, and I just want you to notice, oh, can I go deep? Well, that looks great. For me, I feel like I can go deeper. Can you give me like a thumbs up, middle, or down? Yeah. Like I'm seeing, does it feel I'm seeing the, okay, good, good. I'm gonna have us go ahead and come out. Let's do the other leg. Let's come into warrior two on the other side. And then just get a sense, it might already be a little bit better. But yeah, let's just get a sense of the warrior two. Left toes turn out, right toes turn in. Good. Try to sort of stay right in the center so shoulders are over hips. Beautiful. Yes. And then let's come out and let's go back into that. See if maybe we can get a touch more range. So we have the left foot on the block, right foot on the floor. We're touching the left sit bone right underneath it. We're reaching the butt back into the hand and then pushing that left knee into the right hand. And then continue to feel your sits bone underneath your sit bone moving back into the hand. Beautiful. And then let's go ahead and come back up and just try our warrior two again. Woo, woo. Ooh, yeah, I can definitely feel that it's like deeper. Can we get a, yeah. Let's go on. We'll do internal rotation now, and then we'll do warrior two one more time on each side. So I'm gonna have us grab our block, and we're gonna place the block between the knees, but we wanna turn the feet in as much as we can, and then place the block, and then kind of walk the feet towards each other. Yes, yes. And the idea is I want to break the block in two, but I'm also trying to squeeze my butt a little bit. So when we're in this position, there's a natural tendency to want to send the hips back. So it's gonna feel weird, but try to push the butt forward a little bit as we squeeze the block. Okay, and I'm gonna have us keep the block there, but relax a little bit. And we're gonna do one more for like a 10-second hold. So we're squeezing the block for 1, 2, 3, trying to squeeze the butt a little bit for last 4 seconds, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. And I'm gonna have us release the block, and let's just try our warrior two on each side one more time. Just get a sense for how it feels. And we can even, once we're there, we can even add the arms in, and we're looking out over, really looking towards the middle fingernail, the middle fingernail. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and come out, and we can switch sides. So same thing, just taking the feet comfortably apart. Yes, the arms reach out. We're looking towards that left middle fingernail. Gorgeous. And then we can come all the way out. And I'll have us move into another forward fold, just a comfortable forward fold. Taking a few breaths in and a few breaths out. A few breaths in and a few breaths out. And then we can come all the way to stand. Great. All right. So I'm gonna have us just come to the quadruped, and let's just get in a few cat-cows, but I'm gonna have us curl the toes under so we get a little toe stretch. And then we wanna let the chest lift on the inhale, cow pose, and then exhale. We're pushing the floor away. Just moving with the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And it's also more than okay to move, to make it even more of a spinal wavy type action if that feels better. You can inhale, sending the hips back. Exhaling, shifting them forward through cat pose. All right, let's do 2 more. And then we'll do 1 more. Okay. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna have us come into 90-90. We'll need the block too, but we also might wanna use the blanket. So let's see which side is which, right? So go to one side and notice which side feels like we're leaning over a little bit. Like for me, this side I know is not that side, but when I bring my right leg back, I do feel like a little bit of a lean to the left, right? So pick the side where you feel that little bit of lean, and we're gonna start on that side. And I'm actually just gonna have you, whatever side it's on. So for me, when I have it, I'm mirroring you. When I have my left leg back, I want the blanket to go under the right hip so that I'm slightly elevated on the right. The right hip is slightly elevated. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, and I'm gonna have us be here for a second. We're just gonna take a few breaths here. So the hands can be down to the floor. The hands can rest on the front leg. It doesn't matter really where the arms are. Just kind of think, I'm elongating the spine. And so I'm gonna have us take a big inhale. And then an exhale. I'm gonna have us do 2 more breaths here. Big inhale. And then an exhale. I'm gonna have us do 1 more breath in. And then out. Okay, so now we wanna do a little side bend. So we're side bending towards the side of whatever leg is in front. Beautiful. And we wanna come down to like a little side plank arm, and the elbows in line with the hip. And then we're reaching that top arm up and over so that we're in a pretty nice side bend. And we're taking a big inhale. That looks awesome. And exhale. We'll do 2 more. Big inhale. And then exhale. And we're gonna do just 1 more. Big inhale. And exhale. Okay. From here, we're gonna come up. I'm gonna have us come up off the blanket for a moment, and then we're gonna come onto the side. So we're going down onto the same side of the front leg, right? So if the right leg's in front, we're coming onto the right side. If the left leg's in front, we're coming down onto the left side. So the same side that we were just doing the side bend to. And then we wanna take the yoga block and squeeze the yoga block between the knees. The knees are not quite at 90, they're kind of off 90 slightly. And then what I'm gonna have us do, this is a little bit of the challenging part. So we're gonna squeeze into the block, but then the top hip, it's like we're trying to keep the knee glued to the block, but then we're moving the top hip back, and it's like trying to drag the block back, right? So think of just the hip leading the movement. We have the block, it's squeezed, and then with that top hip, we're taking it back, and it's like moving the block and the knee back, and we're still keeping that gentle squeeze into the block. I'm gonna have us do a total of 4. So we're gonna do one more. We're squeezing, the hip is moving back. Okay, so now that we have this movement, what I'm gonna have us do is I'm gonna have us, same thing, squeeze, send the hip back so that you're really sliding your top knee back. And then once you're back, lift the top foot as high as you can and continue to squeeze into the block. And we're gonna hold a few seconds, and then we're gonna release and come back to neutral. I'm gonna have you do that 2 more times. So we do the block squeeze, the back hip goes back, the top hip goes back. We keep squeezing the block, and then we lift the top foot, and we're putting the femur into that internal rotation. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna have us do one more. So the top hip comes back to neutral, and then we slide it back. We're still squeezing the block, and then we lift the top foot away from the bottom foot. Yes, and we're breathing. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's go ahead and come up, and we're gonna come back into 90-90 just as we were. With whatever leg we had forward first, that's gonna be forward. With whatever leg we had back, that's gonna be back. And then we just wanna notice, better, same, worse. Yeah? Awesome. Good. Yeah, good. Okay, good. All right, let's switch. So now on the other side, we don't quite need the blanket to start because the other side for all of us is the easier side, right? So we just want to take our 3 breaths in our 90-90 with the other leg forward. The arms come down by the sides, and we're going to do a big inhale and an exhale. And we'll do 2 more breaths just like that. Inhaling and exhaling. And we'll do 1 more breath in and out. And then I'm going to have us do the side bend. So we're reaching down into the arm of whatever the forward leg is, and we're going to bring that top arm up and over. Yes, and we're going to take 3 breaths. Big inhale and exhale. We have 2 more. Big inhale and exhale. We have 1 more breath. Big inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to have us come onto the side. We'll do the same thing on this side. So we're laying down onto the side. We have our yoga block. We're going to place the yoga block between the knees here. We want to gently squeeze the block. And now the first part of it is just making sure that top hip is going back. So you can see, like, if your knees are lined up, right? Your top knee is going to start to move behind the bottom knee. So that's the movement you're looking for, like straight back, squeezing block, and then moving the top hip straight back. Okay, let's do 1 more of these now that we're kind of like patterning that movement. All right, so now we're going to add the internal rotation. So we squeeze block. We take that top hip back, continue to squeeze the block, lift off the foot, and we're holding for about 10 seconds. And we might notice that this foot lifts up higher than the other side. That's actually what I'm seeing. And then we can come out. Let's do 2 more. So we're going to shift the hip back. We're still squeezing the block, and then we're lifting the top foot away from the bottom foot. Continuing to squeeze the block for about 10 seconds. Great. And then we can relax a bit. We're going to do 1 more. Remember to keep breathing. So we're inhaling And exhaling, shifting that top hip back. Continue to squeeze the block and lift the top foot away from the bottom foot. Beautiful. And then we can go ahead and come out. I'm gonna have us come up into our 90-90. The whatever leg's on top, that's the leg that's gonna go back in the 90-90. That's gonna be the back leg. Beautiful. All right. Well, I'm gonna have us come back to the cat-cow. So we're in quadruped, and we can immediately turn these into spinal waves, or like however we want to move the spine. We might want to like curl the toes, round the back, and shift the hips back like this in the cat, and then go forward in the cow. Or we might want to start forward in the cow and shift the hips back, and then do our cat pose to shift forward. It's completely what we're feeling like doing. Now let's do one more. Okay. Okay, and then let's go back to child's pose. So the big toe mounds touch. We're gonna bring the knees very wide. We could put a block under the forehead if we wanted, or not. We could put a blanket under the forehead. If child's pose isn't comfortable, we can come to any other position that is comfortable at the moment. It might just be like that, sitting with the back up against the wall. Could be lying on the side, whatever feels most comfortable.